In this video, you're going to discover the 5 tips that Tony Robbins uses to make his audiences go crazy and how you can too. First, what we're going to do is give you an overview of the 5 speaking techniques, and then I'm going to dive deeper into the detail and nuance so you can model it too. And then at the end, I'm going to give you a bonus tip that Tony does that nobody else does that really causes the audience to go crazy pants. It's so good, and when you do it, your audience is going to go nuts. So let's dive deeper. A couple years ago, I got a chance to hear Tony Robbins live in person, and my life was totally changed. And I realized that he wasn't actually doing very complicated speaking strategies. What he was doing was just a few solid moves. And what it did was cause the audience to walk away going, wow, what a great event. In fact, if you ask a lot of people who attended a Tony Robbins conference, hey, what'd you learn? They won't be able to really remember a lot of different knowledge, stats, data, or teaching that they learned. What they do remember is how they felt. So Tony Robbins has mastered helping the audience feel certain emotions. And when you learn this, your audience is going to be transformed and walk away from your events and from your keynote message feel amazing. So let's dive deeper. Tip number 1, Tony speaks for a little bit and then he immediately engages the audience with a question or an activity. What this does is break up the monotony of long hours of speaking and gets the audience super excited and super engaged. So what you can do in your keynote messages is engage your audience. You know how Tony will stop and say to the audience, like, who believes this or who agrees with this? Say I. So he's giving the audience the words that he wants said back to him. And that technique is called call and response. And if when you're speaking, you stop and say, how many of you agree with this? Somebody shout yes, or somebody shout I do, or somebody shout amen. If you let stop and engage your audience is going to have so much more fun and feel like they're enjoying it more. Number 2, entertain the audience. Tony doesn't stand still when he speaks. He moves everywhere. He crosses that platform. He gets down the stairs and walks in the audience. The audience is constantly feeling uncertain of what's going to happen next, so they feel entertained the whole time. So what can you do? A lot of public speakers will actually use the physical space of the platform and move around a lot. Other public speakers feel more comfortable to actually get down from the platform and start to speak and engage the audience in that way. So if you feel comfortable, walk those aisles. Entertain that audience. Number 3, vocal dynamics. Tony's the king of this. His voice very loud, the tonality almost like he's shouting, and then he'll quiet down almost like he's whispering into the microphone. So he's changing the vocal dynamics a lot, and what that does is causes the audience to stand up at attention. So don't be afraid in certain moments that you're feeling that heat and that passion to get loud and get excited. And then other moments to change your dynamics, start to whisper, start to use his pauses, start to tone it down a little bit, because that will keep the audience engaged and excited. Tip number 4, exercises. Tony's the king of stopping and having the audience move through a visualization exercise. Not just that, but he'll also have time for journaling and writing. He's asking questions and prompts. So how could you incorporate this in a live event or a seminar or a workshop that you're doing? Have cool exercises that everybody could do together. Tip number 5, music. Tony comes out with music pumping. That audience is excited. He even has dancers come out sometimes. But use music when you come out to the platform. It provides that extra pump for the audience. He also uses music during those exercises, kind of calm, meditative, reflective type music. He'll change the state of the audience using music frequently, and that's one of the secrets that he uses to help the audience feel such powerful emotions. Here's a bonus tip: have an MC. If you can have an MC, like somebody who gets up and speaks before you get up, they can get the audience hyped. A great MC can set the tone and get the audience very excited, very passionate before you even hit the platform so that you can hit the ground running. So have a great MC introduce you before your next keynote or speak before you in your next event. If you want to crush it on stage like Tony Robbins and make more sales, click the link in the description below where you can check out my free training.